We are live for another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike, and today we're going to be not breaking down a card. We're going to be recapping this past year, and we're going to give out some couch awards, and we'll just talk some fights. We'll talk about maybe some things coming up, and then I have another video coming out this week. Probably I'm going to go live tomorrow, and we're going to talk about the 2026 champion predictions. But today's going to be a recap. Wasn't the craziest year, but it was decent. Feel free to hop in the chat, talk to me, let me know how your year was, what you think of my bets, what you think of my takeaways, what you think of my awards, if you guys think I should be giving it to somebody else, or yeah, let's just talk about it. It's been a while since I've been on camera. It's been like 2 weeks now. It was a good little break, but just wanted to hop on and do a little show. So that's what we're going to do today. Shouldn't be too long. I'm thinking probably around 20 minutes maximum. All right, so let's start off with just the numbers. So this past year, 2025, this is the 5th year I'm tracked. My first year was 2021, but that one wasn't fully, it wasn't the full year. I think I started about halfway through and ended up pretty solid. That year was tracked. It was 24.2 units, and that was a 4% ROI. That was 2021. 2022 was my best year in terms of just straight up units. I won 95.2 units with a 7% ROI. Then 2023 was a losing year. I lost 13.7 units there. And then 2024 was ROI-wise my best year, 49.1 units profit, 9% ROI. And this year, early on, we were doing real well. We had a double-digit ROI. I was fairly certain that I was going to make it to the end of the year with a double-digit ROI. And then the back half of the year was really tricky. I mean, it could have been a whole bunch of reasons. I think that part of me, I started forcing a little bit with favorites. That was one thing. Got comfortable, got pretty confident because I was doing well. Started forcing big shots on the favorites. Like, I'll talk about it, but by far my worst bet, I think this year was probably laying chalk on RDR against Brendan Allen in a 5-round fight. That wasn't a good move at all. And then also, I think a big problem was I started staking really kind of scared pretty much. Like, I would find the dogs I like, and I'm good at finding dogs. That's something that I am good at. But I would find the dogs, and then rather than playing them for like a unit like I was in the beginning of the year, which was working, I started to play them for like a quarter unit or a half unit. Why? I don't really even know. I think it's because I started to lose a little bit, and I wanted to not lose a ton of units. But overall, it wasn't a good strategy. Got to change that going into the year. But anyways, so ended up with, for this year, 2025, ended up with 27.1 units, 7% ROI. It says 28.1 if you look at my Bet MMA. Maybe I can share it with you guys so we can look at stuff. There we go. So let me just pull this up like this. Okay, yeah. So yeah, over here, if you see this right here, it says 28.1. It should be 27.1, a little bit higher than that. The reason it's incorrect by about a unit is because I started tracking my lotto parlays, and a few cards ago, I believe it was, I don't remember exactly which card it was. It was the Alexandre Topuria fight. So that would have been right here. So this was a 3-leg parlay. It was supposed to be all decisions. It was Topuria decision. I believe it was Armin decision. And I think Loader decision it was those. And hold on, let's just do it like that. It was supposed to be a 3-leg lotto, and I originally entered it without the decision method. I just wrote by accident. I wrote Topuria money line, Armin money line, and Loader money line, and obviously the odds did not line up because that wouldn't have been a crazy odds parlay compared to the lotto. So I changed that before the fights. I submitted the error like you could on Bet MMA. They tried to fix it, but in fixing it, they just changed it to 3 legs of Topuria by decision. So temporarily, it said I won like 16 units, which was also incorrect. Ultimately, they fixed that. They couldn't fully fix it. So it says I won 0.78 units, but really I lost 0.25 there. And yeah, let's see what else. So all-time unit profit, we're sitting at 182 units. I'm happy with that. 5% ROI. I've really been trying to get that up, but it's going to take a better year this year. Straight fight picks, 5%. It's about where we were last year. Props, I think we did a little bit better this year. Got it up to 6% ROI. Been hitting on some long shot props. Been hitting on some methods, so that's been good. And the parlays, ever so slightly better, but I'm going to keep the parlays about the same this year. Except for that one time I had one card where I went with like 4 or 5 parlays and it was a terrible card. Not doing that again. I'm sticking to maximum. I'm allowed to have 1 or 2 parlays on a card, ideally 1 or less. And I'm going to try to move away from them as much as I can, unless I really see a spot where, okay, like I can put this together. This is solid. Other than that, I'm going to try to stay away. Going into 2025, going to really try to lean into the underdogs. I think that's by far my strong suit. If you look over here to these lines over here, let me make this a little smaller. There we go. So if you look here, big favorites, my ROI is 1%. Slight favorites, my ROI is 4%. But then once you get into the slight underdogs, 8%, 9% on big underdogs. That used to be even higher. It was one of my favorite stats of mine. It was like 30%, but that was like last year. And I guess started missing a little bit. But still, I like those numbers. I'm happy with it. The chart looks solid. And hopefully we can have a good year going into this next one. And hopefully it can stay good the whole year. I was going to talk about my best bet, my worst bet, and some lessons. I kind of already touched on the lessons, but best bets were probably I hit Barcelos plus 900 over Talbot. That was nice, but the staking was kind of stupid. I only won a quarter unit. I was chicken. I have to start tuning out noise. That's a big thing for me. I'll find an underdog I like, and they'll be old or something, or maybe a little bit fragile, and everybody will be talking about, oh, they're too fragile, they're too old, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll get chickened out, and I'll still play it, but I'll play it too small. Whereas Roni should have been at least a half unit play, probably a full unit play at least, but messed that up. At least I played it, so I'll still consider it one of my better bets of the year. And same story with Ethan Ewing. That's my runner-up. I played Ethan Ewing. That was like plus 4 something, I think I played it at, or plus 400. Played that only for a quarter unit as well, but it felt damn good to hit that one, especially because I was there live for the fights, and he came in there on his debut and just put on an absolute beautiful performance. It was so good. People are going to run and yell that Malcolm's a fraud. Now he's not a fraud. Ethan Ewing is just also a really good prospect at bantamweight that I'm looking forward to seeing. Worst bet, I already mentioned it. Probably RDR at chalk. That was a bad bet. Also putting Sagita Zakhmayev in a parlay. Pretty poor bet. But I think for the worst one, it's probably RDR, especially because I went into the tape on that one thinking, okay, I usually like backing Brendan Allen as an underdog, and somehow or another, I convinced myself onto the favorite. I think I played it for like 2-point-something units, and it was just a really, really bad bet, and one that I would like to not make again. So that's the worst bet of 2025 for me. And yeah, main takeaways: need to be pickier with the round props, need to lean into the underdogs more, and need to stake more on big underdogs. And that's really it. So we'll take this down for the recap. I believe that's it, at least. We'll take that down, make me big again. And now we'll talk about some awards, the Couch Awards. Not doing as many as I did last year, just because it gets a little bit silly at a certain point, but I'll go over some stuff. Fight of the year for me, if we're going just straight UFC, it's pretty easy. Brandon Royval, Joshua Van, it was an absolute war. They put up, like 400 significant strikes that they landed, and it was just amazing. And the whole narrative too, because Van wasn't supposed to fight Royval that night. He came in at the beginning of the year. He wasn't even ranked, I'm pretty sure, and that got him the title shot that ultimately led to him getting the belt. So that was my fight of the year for UFC. But if we're also including Contender Series, it has to be a tie, because Luna Vologden was a sick fight. That was also an absolute banger. 2 guys who brought it, 2 guys who fought the entire time, 2 guys that threw a ton of volume and really wanted that contract, and both got it. Vologden lost the fight, but he got the contract anyways. So that was a really sick one. I would say they're tied for my fight of the year for including Contender Series. Upset of the year, I think I have to go with Barcelos over Talbot. He was plus 900. Nobody gave him a shot. I was one of the people who did, but most people did not give him a shot. And he came out there as an old man and kind of schooled Talbot a little bit. And look at Talbot now. I mean, he just got a crazy win over Henry Cejudo. Looked fantastic. Very good chance he gets a title shot either this year or next year. and Barcelos got that upset. So I got to give him upset of the year. KO of the year, I was going to do a different one, but I ended up moving it to a different award that I'll talk about in a second. So K of the year, I'm going to go with Rufy over Bobby Green just because it was a really, really slick knockout. Like in terms of what was the cleanest looking knockout, that was probably up there. I was close to going with Murphy over Pico because I had money on that one, but I think ultimately it's probably Hoofy over Bobby Green. So I went with that one. And then the one that was supposed to be KO of the year for me, but I ended up giving it a different one. I'm going with comeback of the year, Prochaska over Roundtree. I think that one was just sick. I mean, he was down on the cards. I was watching live. I was like, okay, like he's down 2-zip, but this is Jiri. This is Jiri. I think he could do it. And he comes out there and he actually does it. He put on a beating. It was brutal. It was a brutal, I don't think it was a full 5 minutes. And he got him out of there and got the finish. So that's going to be the comeback of the year. It's Jiri. And if you give it the KO of the year, I think that's okay too, because it was one of the most exciting KOs of the year. Honorable mentions would be like Protest knocking out Leon Edwards, Michael Morales knocking out Sean Brady, but that's because I had money on them and I was there live. So we're going to stick with knockout of the year for Hoofy, comeback of the year for Jiri over Roundtree, and then submission of the year. This one was kind of tricky, but I ended up going with Charles Oliveira submitting Gamrot just because it was so dominant. And a lot of us, including myself, we went into it thinking Gamrot had a good chance to win. I had money on Gamrot. And Charles just schooled him. He schooled him from pillar to post and then ended up getting him out of there. So for me, that had to be the submission of the year. And it's not really a submission of the year, but we got to somehow include Walter Walker because he did get 3 heel hooks in 2025. He only won 3 fights in 2025 and they were all by heel hook. So I don't know in what fashion, but we're going to include him in the submission of the year. So we're going to give it to Walter Walker and his 3 heel hooks and Charles Oliveira for the dominant performance there. Then we got the bag fumbler of the week. That's easily Dolgarian of the year. I mean, Dolgarian 100%. Had a very, very strong career, had a very good chance of making a name of himself. Clearly one of the best 145 prospects in the world, in the division. And then the week of the fight, we learned that he doesn't feel like it's right, that he's not getting money from bets. I think he's been disappointed because he had the thing with the Nelk boys and that fell through. They kind of screwed him. So he felt like he was owed something, and he went and decided that the way he was going to solve his problems was fix a fight or allegedly fix a fight. We don't know for sure yet, but my inkling is that there was something suspicious there. And even if it wasn't, like the whole way he behaved himself beforehand, like it was a bag that was fumbled. So that's going to go to Dolgarian. After that, we got worst fight of the year. And that's going to not easily. Honestly, it wasn't easy to pick because there were some really bad fights. But I'm going to go with Mark Bujlo and Denzel Freeman. Maybe it's because it's really recent, but that was just horrendous, like really, really bad. I guess a second runner-up, very close runner-up would be Ibo Aslan and Billy Elikana because that was just atrocious as well. And every time I watch that fight, I get pissed off. But we'll go with Denzel Freeman and Bujlo because that was just like these two guys get brought in to kind of build up the heavyweight division, rebuild it, and then they do that. So we're going to go with them for the worst fight of the year. Debut of the year, I'm giving it to Ethan Ewing just because the narrative and the circumstances, the fact that he got brought in on only a couple days short notice. Malcolm is on record now saying that he was not even taking Ethan serious. Like he thought this guy was a nobody and he was just getting fed to him. And then Ethan comes out there and just, like, I don't want to say runs through him, but he put on, I believe it was a 30-27. I believe he put on a shutout. So that has to be the debut of the year for me. And he did it at MSG as well. And then rookie of the year, also relatively easy, went with Kevin Vallejos. I mean, he came in, he's 23 or 24 years old, got a bunch of wins, and most significantly knocked out Giga Shikadze. I had money on Giga. He did win the first round, but then Kevin found a way to win, got a really nice spinning, I believe it was a spinning back fist knockout. And because of that, we're going to give Kevin the rookie of the year. We're doing a career turnaround of the year. This one was a little tricky because there's two for me. There's either you go with Alexander Hernandez, who was just losing all the time and who was once considered a busted prospect. And now he comes in, he had a winning year. He didn't lose a single fight. I believe it was 3 fights he won. and he's probably going to go into next year and get a ranked fight. So he's up there. But then the other one, it's kind of tricky. It's Peter Yan. With Yan, on one hand, he could deserve it more because he came in and got a belt over the guy who 45'd him. But on the other hand, he's kind of always still been great. Like no one, I guess a lot of people did count him out of the title picture pretty permanently. So, all right, we're going to go with Peter Yan. We'll do him. Career turnaround of the year, going to be Peter Yan because he got that belt over Merab. And then two more. We got card of the year. Card of the year for me was UFC 322 because I was there live. Because up until the two title fights, I think it was an elite card, just elite, ton of knockouts, ton of fun fights. And I know the main event and the co-main were boring, but at the end of the day, like we still got to see Valentina versus Wei Li, a fight we all wanted to see, and we got to see Islam come up and get that second belt finally. So I'm cool with sticking with that for my card of the year. And fighter of the year, last award, but last but not least, it's gonna be Joshua Van. I don't know how you don't give it to him. The guy wasn't even ranked at the beginning of the year, and now he's champ. Did he deserve to? I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, so he did deserve to become champ. But did he get it in the way we all would have liked to see? No, but he still got the belt, and it is what it is. They'll probably run it back if Pantoja gets in good health and Van is still holding the belt. But you still got to give it to him, in my opinion. He came out there, did what he had to do. Got the title shot by beating Royval on super short notice. And he's just been on a crazy, crazy run. So he's going to be the fighter of the year. And that's going to be it, guys. That's it. That was the recap. Those were our couch awards, we're going to call it. And then watch out for this week. I believe I'm going to do it tomorrow. We're going to come in. We're going to talk about champions. Not much of you, none of you at all in the live chat today. But when we talk to champions, hop in. Talk with me. Tell me who your predictions are. We'll talk about who we think is going to be champ at the end of 2026. And we're also going to talk about some value spots where, for bets where, maybe they're not the most likely to end up being champion, but the odds are off and it's worth a play. So we're going to talk about all of those. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace out. And I'll see you soon.